Hello and welcome. I'm Craig Harrington, and today's topic is greed. America's economic system is based on greed. We have all asked ourselves who is to blame for the economic collapse which nearly destroyed the fabric of our once great nation. Is it the investors, the shareholders, the executives? Do we blame the creditors who lent the money or the debtors who borrowed it? Do we blame our government for being outmaneuvered internationally? Or do we blame other governments for harassing us in such a malevolent way? The answer is simple. Everyone shares the blame. The reason we all share it is because everyone was overcome by the worst of human character flaws: personal greed. The $50 billion Ponzi scheme, which landed infamous investor Bernie Madoff in prison, can be used as a representation of the entire American system. What was the boom of mortgage lending but a giant government-endorsed Ponzi scheme? People were allowed to take out floating rate mortgages which they could never reasonably afford. Nowhere during the authentication, approval process did any underwriter, processor, loan officer, bank manager, mortgage broker, or other professional stand up and stop it. Obviously, some professionals probably did, but they were evidently few and far between. The borrowers wanted these unsustainable packages to go through because it meant they had more money for frivolous consumption. The lenders wanted it to go through because it meant they could chalk up another success in their transaction register. The banks wanted it because it inflated their holdings with highly rated securities, which they gave arbitrary AAA ratings to. Those securities could then be sold to investors in package deals. And the investors wanted the packages because with more and more deals going through every day, the Ponzi scheme of the American financial system was paying huge dividends to anyone and everyone willing to join the game. Making matters worse, the government sanctioned and even promoted the whole system because, in spite of obvious evidence of manufacturing decline and stagnating wages and living standards, our government could point to the growing millionaire class and to the booming stock market as it patted itself on the back for a job well done. The rich and powerful elites who make up our government cheered the accumulation of money by rich and powerful elites. What a surprise. The problem with the American financial system is the same one which attacks every Ponzi scheme. Eventually, you either run out of investors or something happens to tip someone off to the scandal. When a multi-level scam like this comes to light, the collapse is hard and fast, and everyone loses everything. Unfortunately, in the case of a single private investment scam, the ringleader goes to prison. But in our case of a nationwide, if not global scheme, there is no one person to blame. Instead of imprisoning, sanctioning, or simply forcing out those in power, our government bailed them out. When a Ponzi scheme fails, everyone is supposed to suffer. But when the financial sector fell apart, the government came to the rescue. And it did so using the money of all the people who weren't involved. They couldn't take money from the investors and shareholders because they had lost everything. They couldn't take money from the borrowers because they had lost everything. And they refused to take money from the profiteers because it would be political suicide to bite the hand that feeds you. So they took from the rest of us. The greedy corporatism which has taken over this country will be the end of it if nothing is done. Instead of bailing out the bankers, we should shore up the people, give them jobs, income, and stability, give them the things that they've lost over the past several decades. On behalf of concerned citizens, I'm Craig Harrington. For more on this and other related topics, please log on to economyincrisis.org.
Wake up, America! Open up your eyes! Wake up, America! Wake up!
Produced by economyincrisis.org.